The questions we ask today aren't about lap times or horsepower. They're about ghosts, machines that whisper to us from eras when analog wasn't a marketing term, but a way of life. Jean, a good friend of us, stands at this crossroads. Can you fall in love with a relic? Not just admire it, but feel it, raw and unapologetic. In an age where algorithms dictate passion, the answer lies beneath this shroud, in the curves of a 2006 Lamborghini Murciélago LP640, a machine forged before TikTok, before autopilots, before cars became rolling Wi-Fi hotspot. But our mission is twofold. First, to dissect its soul. Second, to weaponize it with rubber ripped from the future, tires so advanced they'd make a Formula One engineer blush. These aren't tires, they're time travelers, hypercar compounds grafted onto a chassis designed when flip phones ruled. 0.3 extra lateral Gs, a number that sounds clinical until you realize it's like giving Excalibur to a medieval knight. The suspension weeps. The steering rack, a relic of Bush-era engineering, trembles under forces it was never meant to comprehend, but the V12, it laughs. A deep guttural chuckle that shakes the very air. This isn't progress, it's heresy, and it's glorious. ...230 kilometers per hour. The Murcielago doesn't carve this corner, it argues with it. Aerodynamics, a polite suggestion. Stability control, a fairy tale. What holds it to the earth isn't downforce, but sheer audacity. Watch as physics textbooks burn. The chassis, older than Twitter, flexes like a boxer's ribcage. The dampers, overwhelmed but unbroken, sing a hymn of protest. And yet, tires screech, then silence. It sticks, not because it can, but because it refuses to yield. Nureyev pirouetting on vodka and spite. To drive this car is to duel with history. The E-gear transmission isn't a gearbox, it's a dyslexic librarian slamming books on a desk. Every shift jolts, every delay a reminder. This isn't a machine built to serve, but to challenge. The brakes, a marriage of desperation and fury, biting harder than a scorned lover. Yet in these flaws lies its genius. The PDK in a GT3 RS is a scalpel. This, a rusty broadsword, ugly, brutal, and alive. Put them side by side, and the contrast is sacrilege. The Porsche, a Swiss watch, all titanium and telemetry. The Lamborghini, a drunk bard reciting Homer. The GT3 RS calculates. The Murcielago feels. Its aerodynamics aren't engineered, they're improvised, like Coltrane riffing at 3 a.m. One car exists to dominate lap times, the other exists to remind us why we started chasing them in the first place. Let's be brutal. This car drinks fuel like a frat boy at open bar. 25 liters per 100 kilometers if you're gentle, which you never will be. Maintenance, a tax on madness. Those $5,000 clutch jobs, penance for the sin of joy. The interior creaks, the plastics crack. But ask yourself, what's the price of a heartbeat, of sweat on your palms, of a grin that lingers long after the engine dies? The clock stops. 6 minutes, 59 seconds. A number that defies logic, history, and every smug engineer who said it couldn't be done. But this isn't just a lap time, it's a middle finger to obsolescence. 419 seconds where a forgotten warrior outran its own legend. Where carbon fiber met carbonara and somehow the pasta won. Look at your hands, John. They're shaking, not from fear, from recognition. The GT3 was a diamond, flawless, cold, brilliant. This, a meteorite, pitted, scarred, and older than language itself. It doesn't just move you, it changes you. Modern cars polish away their edges. This one sharpens them, then dares you to bleed. We live in an age of answers, of optimization, of cars that park themselves while you scroll through TikTok. The Murcielago asks questions we've forgotten. What if progress isn't a straight line? What if our flaws aren't weaknesses, but fingerprints? Jan knows now. Some cars are transportation, others are exorcisms. Left on the hood, still warm, a relic in a world of key fobs. It doesn't just start an engine, it ignites a war between the soul and the spreadsheet. And in that battle, gentlemen, there are no losers, only survivors.